Reality television, by its very nature, it introduces us to people in these little fragments. We get
Yeah.
the edit, the compressed personality, the moments that are specifically chosen for drama.
And we form these really strong opinions super fast. We often forget that there's a whole person there, a life that exists completely outside of the cameras.
Today, that's exactly what we're doing. We're taking a deep dive into the story of Mickey Lee, who millions of people knew from Big Brother season 27.
And the audience saw her as, confident, composed, very strategic.
But the sources we've looked at, they show that Michaela Chanley lived this
Yeah.
deeply intentional life. It was rooted in creativity and independence long before she ever stepped into that house.
So our mission for you, the learner, is to connect those fragmented public moments back to the whole person. We're looking at the professional identity she built, her
Hmm.
strategic mindset, and the unexpected legacy of grace she left behind.
Absolutely. This isn't just about a game. It's about understanding the full life standing right behind the screen. So let's unpack where that all started.
We really have to start there because the source material makes one thing incredibly clear. Mickey Lee did not show up on TV searching for who she was.
No, she was already there. She came in established.
Completely. She had already built this robust professional life, and that life was basically the blueprint for everything she did inside the house.
And that framework started pretty early. She was born March 31st, 1990 in Jacksonville, Florida. But the big move, the really defining one, was her decision as a young adult to move to Atlanta.
Yeah, and that decision was anything but random. Atlanta is a hub. It's known for creativity, for entrepreneurship, for this powerful cultural energy.
So it was a deliberate choice.
Oh, absolutely. It was a calculated move to put herself in an environment where she could build her own thing, not just, wait for an opportunity to find her.
And that thing was event curation. She had a company called the Mingle Experience. We're not just talking about planning parties here. She was an event curator. A director of immersive experiences is how she put it.
And if you really break down what that job is, at that high level, it's all about foresight. It's logistics, vision, leadership.
Right.
She was always behind the scenes figuring out how all these different people would interact in a space that she controlled. She had to manage budgets, timelines, difficult clients, fragile egos.
That makes perfect sense. So the skills she was using professionally, reading a room, managing conflict, executing these complex plans.
And high-level people management.
That makes-
Exactly. That professional role is the hidden key to why she was so composed in the Big Brother house.
Because she was already used to it.
She was already used to high-stakes, stressful situations where you can't afford to be emotionally reactive. She was basically the CEO of a temporary environment. Most reality contestants, they're aspiring actors or models. They just don't have that foundation.
You could even see it in her social media before the show. It wasn't influencer branding.
Not at all.
It was just documentation, projects she was proud of, collaborations. She was just comfortable with who she was.
What's so fascinating is how that commitment to her career, sort of,
Yeah.
it inoculated her against the pressures of reality TV.
Mm.
She walked in with real-life experience in managing group dynamics. And that's why her game was so deliberate.
So that foundational identity is what she carried into the Big Brother house in the summer of 2025. She's announced July 8th, one of the original 16.
But then the game, as it always does, changes immediately.
Yep.
The sources remind us of that surprise entry. The veteran player, Rachel Riley, walks in, and suddenly the cast is 17. For most rookies, that's immediate panic.
Oh, it's chaos. A former winner just walking in completely destabilizes everything.
But Mickey seemed to treat it less like a social threat and more like a project management problem.
She didn't panic. She just adapted,
Oh.
which goes right back to her professional skills.
It does. In those first few weeks, she completely avoided the classic rookie mistake of jumping into a big, loud alliance.
Right.
Instead, she just became socially aware, approachable, but also, and this is key, guarded. She spoke with this real clarity, but she rarely made herself the primary target, more of a reliable collaborator.
She was just so patient. And that patience paid off. She won that special interrogation power tied to an early HOH twist.
And that power was so critical, it let her get verified information without all the social game anxiety. And what she did with it is so telling. She didn't use it to blindside someone randomly. She used it with perfect timing to confirm where an ally of the veteran player really stood.
Yeah.
She was mapping the power structure without showing her hand at all.
It was an intelligence gathering exercise.
Exactly, not an attack.
And this is where that calculated nature of hers became the big debate for viewers. When she won head of household on week 4, Her reign wasn't impulsive at all. It was deeply analytical.
Boring for viewers who just want drama.
Right. She was evaluating the long-term consequences of every single move.
It was almost surgical. She targeted people based on their future threat level, not because of some personal fight. And for some viewers, that was amazing. Clean, strategic gameplay.
But for others,
For others, it came across as too cautious, or even cold. Her professional composure was starting to get misinterpreted as, emotional distance.
and she wasn't just a social player. Week 6, she wins the blockbuster competition,
Yeah.
secures her own safety.
Yeah, which showed she was balanced, right. She could win a competition when she needed to protect her strategy.
It really highlighted her discipline. And speaking of discipline, we have to talk about her avoiding showmances.
Oh, for sure. A showman's can be a lifeline in that house. It's comfort, it's screen time, it's a vote.
And she just didn't engage. She stayed focused on the long-term game, which probably forfeited a layer of protection for her. It definitely made her path harder.
It did.
So here's the question, though. If she was such a great strategist, reading the room, adapting, why was she evicted? Doesn't that mean her strategy had a limit?
That is the essential question. And yes, she did miss the mark. But look at the context of that eviction. She left in week 8, finishing 10th. She was the last person out before the jury.
After 59 days.
Right. And she wasn't evicted because of a scandal or some big emotional outburst. She was taken out because the other players finally realized that her calculated, calm game made her too dangerous to keep around.
So it was a strategic defeat, not a personal one.
Exactly. Her peers respected her game so much they knew they couldn't beat her if she got to the end.
And public opinion during the season really mirrored that. The criticism was almost always about gameplay. Timing, alliances, nominations.
And that distinction is so important in reality TV. The debate stayed inside the lines of the game. No character attacks because her conduct was just unassailable. That consistency says everything about the foundation she brought in with her.
So she leaves the house, having played this very deliberate game, true to herself, and then she had to step into the even crazier game of public visibility.
Right, and this is where so many reality stars they fall apart. They try to rewrite their whole story, apologize for playing the game, invent a new personality.
Mickey did the complete opposite. She just engaged with it all without losing herself.
Her social media strategy was, frankly, masterful. And it connects right back to her being an event curator. She knew how to manage a narrative.
How so?
She leaned into being open. She was interacting with fans. She was funny, self-aware. And instead of fighting the nicknames, she got...
Like hashtag sweet villain and hashtag Mictators.
Yeah. She just embraced them. She made them an inside joke with her audience, and it completely disarmed all the criticism. She refused to get into fights. Her tone was always grounded.
She was treating Big Brother like a platform, not like the end goal.
That's it. She
Yeah.
wasn't suddenly selling diet products. She was talking about her event curation, hinting at future creative projects. She stayed consistent.
And that stability worked. Public opinion really started to stabilize. The fans who had been critical started to revisit her game with more, appreciation for the subtlety.
Yeah, more contact.
So by late 2025, she'd really navigated that transition successfully. She had momentum, and then the story just took that sudden, tragic turn.
It was completely unexpected. I mean, she had been so active and energetic online. In mid-December, the sources described this sudden medical crisis.
Multiple cardiac arrests linked to complications from the flu.
And she was in critical condition. It was just shocking.
And the public response, it was immediate. It united everyone. On December 23rd, her family started a GoFundMe for the ICU bills.
And the community, fans, and former house guests, they raised over $34,000 almost instantly. The media, the public, everyone was so respectful, just focusing on updates and concern for her as a person.
Tragically, on Christmas Day, December 25th, 2025, Mickey Lee passed away. She was 35.
Yeah. Her family announced it on her Instagram, and the grief was it was immediate and widespread.
And in the wake of her passing, all those heated debates about her strategy, the alliances, the timing, they just vanished.
Instantly. Public memory just unified around two things, her authenticity and her composure.
The whole perspective shifted. People were forced to look at her entire run through a new lens.
Right. Moments that were criticized as being cold or cautious were suddenly reassessed as emotional maturity under extreme pressure. Her calmness, once a criticism, became her defining strength.
And the media coverage reflected that too. Outlets like CBS, Rolling Stone, they went out of their way to highlight her professional work as an event curator alongside her gameplay.
They made sure she wasn't reduced to a reality TV stereotype.
And that's because the intentional life she built before the show. That's what ultimately defined her legacy.
She wasn't created by the screen. She just passed through it. She arrived with an identity, and that identity is what survived and, in the end, defined her memory.
So what does this all mean for us, for the learner? When you look back at her life, you really see a masterclass in living with intention.
Mhm.
She built a creative professional life. She entered this high-pressure world with disciplined confidence, and she handled visibility without ever losing who she was.
And if you connect it to the bigger picture, her story really forces us all to look inward. Reality TV is designed to turn people into characters, into these simple roles. Her passing forced the audience to remember that behind the character is a complete human being.
With a past and a future that extend way beyond the edit.
Exactly. The grace she showed after the show was the same professional discipline she showed in week one. It was all connected.
Her story is such a powerful reminder. It makes you ask yourself, how often do we really remember to look beyond the edit, beyond the fragments of strategy, and recognize the full, complex life that's standing right there behind the screen?
It's a powerful thought to carry forward.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the life and legacy of Mickey Lee.